Hey, welcome back to Fit Survive channel. So we are restarting the 111mm Spydernox project. So I actually planned this project back in the end of spring. I actually let my subscribers here on YouTube, I did basically a poll, let you guys vote what color G10 to use. And so red won by just a small margin. So we'll be using the red G10 with this build. But anyways, I started this back in the end of spring. But if you followed the posts here on YouTube, you might remember that I accidentally broke the pivot bore here on the back of the Spyderco blade. And so we're going to be redoing this, restarting this. This time we're using a VG10. The blade I broke was actually a K390, which is kind of strange. I would have expected it to have been a bit stronger. All right, so I have some spare 111mm parts. So we'll be selecting from them. I want to kind of keep it slim. So first of all, we're going to need is the metal file. So the reason why we need the metal file is because it actually shares a layer with the corkscrew, which is important since we have the cutout right here. So I'll put these here for now, then I'll organize them once we get the box out of the way. Next thing I want to use is the pliers. Now these are cool. A couple things interesting about this. On the 111mm, you can see that you have the nail nick right here. Whereas on the 91mm, you just basically access it by the tip. But on this one, basically since it shares the layer with a Phillips screwdriver, so just like this, basically you can access the pliers with the nail nick. So I think that's really cool. We definitely be adding that. All right, we'll be adding the can, the bottle opener. It tends to be the staple, or maybe the go-to. So the can, bottle opener, it's got all there as well. All right, then the last thing we're going to need is a spring for the blade. Move this out of the way. All right, so this is how I'm going to set it up. We're going to put the metal file up top like this, and it gets, like I said, the corkscrew. All right, then after that, we'll have the Spyderco blade. That way, it's on the right side of the knife. Should still be accessible with your right thumb, even though it's on layer 2. All right, then next up will be the pliers with the really cool inline Phillips there. So just like that. And the last layer will be the can, the bottle opener. All right, so that's gonna be our basic setup, our basic plan, using the red G10 liners, carbon fiber scales, the Spyderco Delica 4 Warncliffe. So anyways, I think this will be fun, and let's go ahead and let's dive right into the modifications. All right, so I do have a new tool here from Next Tool. They also sent a bit kit, kind of cool. It's very, very similar to the leather and style bits here. And so we're going to use this to take the Spyderco apart. I'll be reviewing this tool here soon. Anyways, let's go ahead and give it a test here. You see even the little bit driver here reminds me of a Leatherman. All right, so we're pinning in this pivot bore right here. Keep our fingers crossed, because this is where I broke the blade last time. Snapped it right in half right there. So let's take this outside and get this pinned in. All right, got the pivot board peened in, re-drilled out. Now we drilled this out to 3 millimeters because the 111 millimeter Sawyer knife, it uses 3 millimeter on the side and basically 2.5 in the middle. So this is drilled out to 3 millimeters. So what we need to do next, basically anytime I am working on a new knife or any kind of modification really, just gotta kind of size it up and see, how it's gonna work. Of course, it's not gonna just be something you can just drop in. I wish it was just something like that, like just plug and play, if I can call it that. Something's gonna have to be modified, so let's find out. All right, so most obvious, of course, the tip is sticking way up out the front, so of course that won't work. Really simple way to fix that. It's gonna be basically to take this down just a bit. Right there, that'll lower this down. Just gotta make sure we don't lower it to the point where the blade is tapping on this section or this pin that's coming up right there. So let's go ahead and open this up, see if it doesn't pop out. All right, and then we're gonna see what we can do. As you can see here now, the blade is kind of tilted that direction. So we'll see if we can make some kind of also maybe modifications, maybe remove a bit of metal right here off the section of the worn cliff. That way we can maybe straighten it just a bit. Don't want to go too far. It already doesn't have much. I don't feel like really any snap here at the end. But anyways, it's going to require some fine tuning. But let's go ahead. We'll start with, first of all, getting this thing down into location. Downwards, reaching in low enough it's not going to stick out. And then we'll kind of figure out what to do further with this. All right, so you can see the modifications we've done. Took down right here, a bit right here, on the top as well. So let's see how this is going to work for us. Put a liner on top, because without the second liner, the pins can be twisted and it won't show you accurate. All right, so we got it deep enough. See there, it's not going to be sticking out at all. It's not going to be tapping the pin either. All right, so a lot straighter, as you can see right there. And it also snaps into place. All right, so we could leave it just like that, as it is basically. But I think that'd be definitely holding back, because the 111 millimeter also has a liner lock. So what we have to do is, since it's already fits, no modifications need to be done to the liner lock, which is really great compared to all the other sizes like the 91 millimeter and so on, where I've placed the liner lock before. I actually modified the liner lock. Whereas here what we're going to do, this is also a two-way liner lock. So it's going to lock the bottle opener as well as the blade. So basic concept here is right here where you see the tip of this section that says press. I'm going to take out just a bit of the Spyderco right there. That way that liner lock will pop over in front of the blade and lock it into place. I think that's definitely going to take it to the next level. Whereas, just adding the Spyderco blade is cool, but making it actually where it works with the original liner lock, I think it's a totally different level. Alright, so to finish this up, I'll be using the diamond base needle file here. Alright, so it's going to be about 16 minutes, much longer than I expected. But anyways, you can see here. So we did 4, fitting this. Snap this into place. Put our liner on it. Alright, then just open this up. And that snaps into place. So we got the lock done. Let's push that over. And just like that. All right, so cool. I'm thrilled that worked. All right, next thing we need to do is we're going to make some of these liners. And so we'll take this out again, back outside, cut these shapes out, kind of grind them off. And then basically we can get started on the assembly. All right, so the rest of the liners are now finished. So one thing I did notice, it's going to actually kind of make us change around the setup just a bit. All right, so here we go. So the knife, the Spyderco blade has to go next to the Canon bottle opener because the lock, the liner lock shares. Basically, you have half that goes with that, half that goes with this. And so I'll probably have to place a Spyderco on the third layer. Yeah, I think that's just the only option we have is to place that on the third layer. We'll see how it works. Hopefully it'll still be nice and accessible with our right thumb, as that was the original plan. All right, so next thing, I'm going to pin some brass. Now, I've had several people write comments, and they want to see the process of how I make pins. And so you can see this right here. This is just a raw pin, brass pin. So of course, once again, this is going to be 3 millimeters on the outside. So here, and then 2.5 in the middle. And so I'll have links down in the description of the video to the items that I've used, where you can find them. But anyways, just a standard piece of brass pin here. Basically, I clip it down to the needed size. Basically, I measure the length of the liners, should I say the thickness of the liners and the springs, get a little extra space, clip it. And then I'm going to take this outside, and I'm going to basically pin these, I call them brass rivets. Some people call them grommets. I've heard all kinds of names for them. Anyways, we're going to pin these on. And after we do that, we'll start assembly, and we'll figure out where we're going to place the Spyderco blade there. All right, so here's the pins finished up. I'm going to go ahead and start assembling. All right, so I did notice off camera that basically the file was doing a lot of rubbing, and so I need to change the liner a bit, and also realized that I had the wrong spring for the file. But the knife I took apart to get this spring that I needed had the wood saw, and so now I'm actually tempted because I think the wood saw might be probably handier than the metal file. I could technically place both on here, but my pins are just not long enough to allow for the two of them, which is quite unfortunate. It'd be kind of cool to add both, I guess. All right, so I guess we'll go with the wood saw. Let me know in the comments if you think I should have gone with the metal file instead. All right, so it's nice and snappy. Good. All right, so now we are ready to go out and pin this shut. All right, so we let the epoxy set. So the last thing we need to do, we're add some red accessories. So the red tweezers and the red pick we'll be adding. Just kind of adding to the style here. And we'll also be adding a red mini tool. Now it's not my favorite. This basically has the SIM card pin, which is not very practical for me. But anyways, at least it matches, I guess, just the style here. And also be adding the red lanyard. All right, and that's it. Basically, we're done now with the knife. So since we did not do any modifications to the edge of the blade, there's no need to sharpen this. It'll keep its original factory edge. So you see it locks into place. Absolutely no play on it at all. So really cool. One thing that's unfortunate, I've mentioned this before with the Victorinox liner lock, is, you know, typically with your right thumb you reach over to disengage the lock, whereas theirs is almost like a lefty. So I found I can with my right middle finger reach over and then push down to basically disengage it. Not nearly as convenient as you'd want it to be. It almost feels like it takes like two hands to disengage that, snap it down. Anyways, I guess it is what it is though. Right, so the bottle opener here, you can see, now this of course I did not do any modifications to it. It has just a bit of wobble. That actually comes original, and so nothing I can do about that. Anyways, it's got a good snap though. Same thing with the rest of the tools. All right, and the pliers as well. I already mentioned, but I think it's really cool, this little inline Phillips that fits down below it. The 111mm series definitely has a lot of interesting tools. Be fun exploring them and get more into it maybe. All right, once again, let me know what you think about adding the wood saw. If it's a good trade out over the metal file. That was something that you think was a good idea or a bad idea. All right, on the back we have the corkscrew. Already showed that. Again, nice and snappy there. And they have the awl on the back right here. And that is it for this knife. We are done. And so definitely a successful, transplant of the Spyderco blade. It's the Delica 4. Now, if you do try to kind of repeat this process, do keep in mind that this is a Wharncliffe. And so if you use the typical, I guess they call it a spear point blade on the Delica, you might run into more issues with the belly of the blade tapping against the spring or something else. I haven't tested it. I haven't tried that out yet, but I can imagine that might cause more issues. I'll have to try that one out as well before I can say for sure. But anyway, just keep that in mind. The Wharncliffe definitely works with the modifications that I showed, but do be careful if you use the the spear point. All right, so let me know what you think about this knife. If you like the Delica 4 and the 111 millimeter, if you want to see some more of these, definitely let me know down in the comments. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with this knife since it wasn't an order. It was just basically an experiment. It'll probably end up, I'll probably auction it on my Instagram account. And so if I do, I'll try to, maybe I'll post something, an update here to YouTube or whatever. Anyways, links down below in the description of the video if you want to follow my Instagram so you can catch the auction when I do it, if I do it. And thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.